Hello IP5 and welcome to this week's class. I hope everyone's keeping well. I just first off want to say thank you very much for all the homework that I've received. I think almost everybody has sent me on their homework and it's been very, very good. So thank you and make sure you keep doing it, okay? So again, there's questions here. You see them at the side. You'll have to write them down and answer them. And actually that's the other thing I was meant to say. Please make sure you write down the question and answer, okay? So don't just write the answer into your copybook. Write down the question and answer, okay? That's all. But excellent work from everybody so far. Okay, so we were talking about family last week and we're going to continue talking about family again today, okay? So we are on page 25. So if you want to open up page 25, I'm going to read and you can follow. Okay, so just before we go on to this, maybe we should just look at where we finished. So we were talking about ideal families, okay? Ideal families. So I'm just going to read this last paragraph and then turn over to page 25. An ideal family focuses on the strength, not the faults of one another. Every one of them appreciates each other for being there for him or her. Ideal families are not problem-free. However, they admit having problems and seek help to solve them. Okay, so we covered that last week and we're going to continue today. They also care and show respect for each other. When one is sick, the other members show their concern. When one wins a competition, he or she is praised by the other members. Okay, so we're just talking about care and respect. So it's really two words that are really, really important whenever you want to make sure that you're in a good family. You want to care about each other. You know, you want to look after each other when you need to, and you want them to look after you when you need to be looked after, and then show respect. Okay, so showing respect is where you talk politely to each other. You let each other talk, you listen to each other, and you don't make problems just because you want to, okay? You respect, like if you don't agree with somebody else in your family, you don't cause a problem just because you disagree with them. You respect that they have a different opinion compared to you, okay? All right. Similarly, when one is sad, he or she is consoled or cheered up by the other members. This is important as everyone loves to be the center of attention. So if you are sad, you hope that your family will get around you and say, "Don't worry, everything will be okay." And you will do the same for your other family members when they are sad too. We need to work hard to have a happy family. It is not one person's effort, but teamwork. Everyone has to play an active role to make it work. Other than that, we have to put our family first, not because we have to, but we want to. So, it's really hard. Sometimes you might think that all your family is against you and that you do everything and that you have no help, you have no support, but that's not true. All families work together, okay? There's nobody in a family that should be doing all the work themselves. So if you see that somebody in your family is doing more work than what you're doing, you should be asking them, can you help? Okay? So that means that you're taking an active role within your family, okay? So you're showing your family you're responsible and that you care for them, okay? And you should want to help them. You shouldn't do it because you're told to. You should want to help your family. And whenever you start helping your family and you get the respect from your family, you will want to do it more. Okay? Okay. Types of Thai family. So the following are two types of Thai family divided by how they live together. So one of the questions here is, what type of Thai family is your family? So maybe your family is one of these two types, okay? So the first type is nuclear. Nuclear family is a family unit that includes parents and their biological or adopted children, such as father, mother, and children, living in the same residence. That means living in the same house or home. This type of family is usually found in urban societies. Okay, so this family is where a family lives together, but in the house you have parents and kids and their children. Okay, so it's just parents and children living together in the one place. And then the other one, second one, is extended family. Extended family is a type of family in which relatives, in addition to parents and children, such as grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins, live in a single household. This type of family is often found in rural and suburban societies. So this extended family, so you'll live with your parents and your brothers and sisters, but also maybe your grandparents live with you too. So it's extended, it's bigger. Extended means bigger, okay? So you have nuclear, which is just parents and children, and then extended, which is parents and children and some other family members, like grandparents, or maybe an uncle or uncle and aunties or cousins or something like that, okay? So there are two different types of family. So what type of Thai family is yours? Okay, I want you to write in, answer that question, what type of family is yours? And then the first question that you need to answer, how do you show your family care and respect? Okay, so you have to answer this question. How do you show your family care and respect? So you need to think about it. How do you show your family care and respect? Look at the examples on the page over here. Do you do any of these things? If you do, you need to write them down in your answer. Okay? Okay. So for this exercise, it says write down 5 characteristics of an ideal family. Okay? So you'll need to go back over, look for characteristics. For example, characteristics are doing things together, looking after each other, caring for each other. I'm only going to give you 3 of them, because you need to think of 5, okay? So whatever characteristics you have in your family, write them down there, okay? And you do not need to answer this, okay? Do not answer this. I just want you to answer the first question, the 5 characteristics of an ideal family. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do not do this. 1, 2, and 3. Do not answer these, okay? There's no need to answer them. Okay, so part of families is having conflicts with each other. And conflicts are disagreements when you and somebody else or 2 other people in your family don't agree with each other. And this normally causes problems, okay? So maybe people stop talking to each other or people shout at each other. These are called conflicts, okay? So we're going to talk a little bit about conflicts. Okay, so page 27, I'll read and you follow. Conflicts usually arise out of disagreements between 2 or more people. Conflicts occur when people perceive that there is a threat to their needs, interests, or concerns as the result of disagreements. Okay, so conflict happens when one person is afraid that their opinion or what they believe or think is going to be challenged or has been challenged. Okay, and normally we can tell that a conflict has happened because a disagreement will break out. It means that a disagreement is that you and somebody else do not agree with each other. Okay, so normally when that happens, 2 people are not happy with each other, and then we forget about the rules of respecting each other, listening to each other, taking time to care for each other. We forget about them because we are in a difficult stage where 2 people don't agree with each other. Okay? Conflicts arise naturally in every aspect of our daily life. We meet many people every day. There are no two people with identical thoughts and beliefs. Thus, conflicts tend to happen. Okay, so conflicts are natural. You can try and avoid conflicts, but the thing is, you can't avoid them forever. So you will have lots of different conflicts all the time. And they can be small or big, okay? Conflicts are not always shouting matches. They could be just where two people don't agree with each other, so you stop talking. Okay, so then that's not a big shouting match. But it will happen at home, and it will happen with your friends too. Okay, it will happen when you're in school. It will happen with your cousins. It will happen with your parents, your brothers and sisters. It will happen with any other friends that you have. Happen with teachers. It will happen with everyone. So it's something that you need to know, that conflicts happen, but you need to know that it's okay to have a conflict, but it's only okay if you know how to deal with the conflict afterwards, okay? And during it, okay? So let's just have a look at your questions for this page. Oops, sorry. How do conflicts occur? Okay, so the answer is here. And then, do you get into many conflicts? So you've got to answer, do you get into many conflicts? Yes. Why do you get into so many conflicts? Or no. Why don't you get into conflicts? Why do you think you never get into arguments or disagreements with people? Okay. All right. So that is page 27. We'll move on to page 28. So we're going to continue with conflicts. Conflicts happen when one believes that the trust, promise, or faith between oneself and someone else has been broken. What this means is that when you are talking with somebody or friends with somebody or related to somebody, you believe that there's a trust there, that you won't try to do bad to each other. But conflicts happen when we lose the trust and we lose the faith and we lose what we expect from each other, whether it be family or friends, okay? So when this happens, then we don't trust them and we can't believe people anymore. So then that can lead to conflicts because you don't believe the people you are talking to. When a person trusts someone else, he places a high level of faith in that relationship, which leads to a sense of stability and security. Therefore, when a breach of trust happens, it inevitably leads to serious conflicts. So again, like I just said, we trust our family, we trust our friends. We don't expect them to disagree with us, even though it happens, but we don't expect them. And then if it's a really bad disagreement, we can lose all trust and faith in them, and we won't believe anything that they say, and we won't trust them again for a long, long time. Sometimes miscommunication may lead to conflicts too. Instructions given might be misinterpreted, thus giving rise to frustration. The conflict will get even worse when no one is willing to accept responsibility for the miscommunication. So sometimes miscommunication can lead to conflicts. This means where two people think they are in agreement, or maybe one person has said something to somebody, but the other person didn't hear them correctly. So then that's miscommunication. What the person told you, you didn't hear all of it. So you both have two different ideas of what that person said. So this happens all the time, and I see it in school all the time, where people say something, but then one person thinks they heard one thing, but it wasn't, okay? So miscommunication, when we don't speak loudly and clearly, we can miscommunicate, and that can lead to a lot of problems. Mostly frustration. Frustration is when we get angry, and then whenever you have two people who are angry with each other, nobody is going to accept who is right and who is wrong. So it's up to you. So you should be able to look at the situation and say, could I be wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe we are both wrong. Okay. So that is when you do accept responsibility, but lots of times people will never say, I was wrong. So then there's nobody is accepting responsibility. Sometimes disagreements left unresolved for long can lead to conflicts. Negative emotions and suppressed feelings tend to grow in intensity, causing the disagreements to resurface. Therefore, it is important to resolve disagreements as quickly as possible and not let them fester for too long. So, if two people are in disagreement and they both agree that they're in disagreement, well then they might not go back and try to fix it. So the longer you lead it, the more negative it is for the two people who disagree with each other. And bad feelings, then people hate other people, or they really don't like other people because they never finished a conflict. And there might be only one reason that they don't like each other. So that's silly to not be friends with somebody just because you can't agree with each other on one single thing, okay? So what we try to do is we try to resolve, that means fix the conflict as quick as possible so that we don't end up never talking to our best friends again, okay? So we need to try and fix our problems as quick as possible so that we can fix our relationships with our friends or with our family or whoever you have the conflict with. Okay, so first question here for this page. What is trust? Okay, so you might have to think about this. What is trust? What does trust mean to you? If you say, I trust you, what does that mean? I want you to answer that question for me. The second question, how do conflicts happen? Okay, so there's lots of examples there. I've spoken about some examples. And what happens if a conflict is not resolved? Okay, what happens if a conflict is not resolved? So we've spoke about that too. Okay, so all the answers are in the book. I've explained some of them, and some you might be able to answer yourself. You won't need me, and you won't need the book. You can answer yourself, okay? So for today's homework, you have to answer the 2 questions from page 25. You need to write the 5 characteristics of an ideal family. Okay, do not do 1, 2, and 3. You need to answer 2 questions on page 27 about conflicts. And then finally, on page 28, there are 3 questions that need to be answered. Okay, so a little bit of work this week, but it's pretty easy. All the answers are in the book, okay? So that is all for this week. Thank you very much, IP5, and see you again next week.